Welcome to the Library Love Fest podcast. I'm Virginia Stanley.
I'm Lainey Mays.
And Essie Ramirez.
We are the library marketing team at HarperCollins Publishers.
Join us every week as we present buzzworthy books through author interviews, conversations with editors, and expert opinions from librarians like you.
Enjoy the show.
Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Check it out. Do-do-do, Book Buzz, HarperCollins Book Buzz. Brought to you by Library Love Fest.
Hi everyone, it's Lainey. Welcome back. This week for the podcast, we thought we would just use our audio from our Facebook Live this past Tuesday, where we announced a brand new format for our Facebook Live videos that happen every Tuesday on our Facebook page at Library Love Fest. We are premiering Galley Club, and we told you all about the announcement for what book we're picking for the month. So many great details and a little clip from the audiobook. So I'm going to let you listen yourself. If you want to hear the full video, go to our Facebook page. See you next week.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode, or is it, of Door to Door. I'm Virginia Stanley, joined by my trusty colleagues. Identify ourselves.
I feel like we need like dun dun dun. Lady Mays. Hi guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Essie.
And yes, so we've been teasing you all along, all dropping some hints here and there, and so we are super excited to share this news with you that the three of us are moving to the Himalayas. No, we have a new platform. We asked you, we heard you, and we know that you have all been so incredibly supportive, listening, chiming in and hearing our authors, and so many comments on the side of the in the chat room is either I got to read this, or I can't wait to read this, or I'm putting this at the top of my TBR list. And we thought it would be so great if we could make a dedicated Galley Club. It's not a book club because we care about galleys like these, because once the books are done, we know about them. So welcome to the announcement of the Library Love Fest Galley Club. Dun, da, 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 da. Oh my God, everybody's screaming. Woohoo! Yes. What do you think? So green. This is the inaugural, announcement of the Library Love Fest Galley Club. So how this is going to work is that the first Tuesday of every month, we will announce what book we are going to be, which title we've selected that we think really lends itself to great discussion. And so that'll be the first Tuesday. We'll tell you a little bit about the book that we've chosen, why we've chosen it, why we think you should read it, love it, and join in the conversation in the next 2 weeks to come. And then we'll get on with a couple of some newsworthy tidbits, and then a couple of books that we want to tell you about. The following Tuesday, next Tuesday, we are going to have people on from the team that has been working on this book. So we will have an editor, a publicist, a marketing director, a publisher, perhaps an art director. So any sort of, variation of 1, 2, maybe even 3 people who've worked on the book and can give you sort of the inside look, the behind the scenes book, behind the pages of what makes this book so special. And a million years ago, there was a program that United for Libraries did, and I think at the time it was called Friends of Libraries USA. We did a book trip, and people found that really interesting because we had various people from different departments who had worked on a book, and so they came. We did this at ALA, and they would talk about their part in the process, starting with the editor and how it was acquired, and then art, design, editing, all of that. And library marketing, what do we do with it? And then ultimately we heard from the author and then a librarian who would say, okay, that's how it came along, and now I have it, and here's how I get it out there, which is basically everything you guys all know anyway. But I think it's all sort of fascinating, to see the inner workings. So, first week announcement of the title, why you should love it, why we hope you love it, how do you read it or hear it. The next week is people who will come on from the team of that imprint to talk about that book and maybe a couple of other books that they have coming down the line from their imprint. So you'll hear more about, the celebrated book plus more books. And then the third week will be the author. So by then, hopefully you will have had time to read the book and then engage in conversation, questions, comments amongst yourself with the author. And we think it'll be a lot of fun. Of course, there will be, you have to go into this knowing that by week 3, spoiler alerts abound. So we hope that that doesn't ruin it for you, but we hope that compels you to read the book so that you can engage in conversation with all aspects of the book with the author. So there is the plan for the Library Love Fest Galley Club.
Let's see. Yeah, there's lots of love. Great idea.
Awesome.
How do we join? That's a question.
The same way that you would watch Door to Door. Follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook. And right, Lane, I mean, what else am I missing? You like us on Facebook, and when we make the announcement, we will also make it, remind you, shortcut, here are the e-galleys on Edelweiss, on NetGalley. If it's an audio galley, we'll give you that too. So we're not going to, however it makes it. Oh, of course, we'd love to give you all print galleys, but you know the story with that. We never knew how much to print because we weren't going anywhere. So does that answer it? Because if it doesn't, maybe Lena can speak more to it than I.
No, I think that's perfect. Anyway, there's no specific way to sign up. We're not gatekeeping anything. Everything is open to anyone who wants to join. But in order to join in and hear about it is to come to the first one, hear the announcement, download the book, and then come to the other 2 throughout that celebration, and just follow our socials, follow our newsletter. You're going to see it everywhere. And we also will continue making events in Facebook. So, or Meta, I don't know these days, but it'll have events listed just like they have now. So you can sign up and get reminders. So the best way is just to follow us anywhere you're already following us and how you come to this. But it's not it is a secret club. We like to think that you're all in our club, but it's available to everybody.
Okay. Does that help? Okay. And I'm sure eventually it will be on the big bulletin screens, and I was going to say bulletin board because I'm 112 years old, on the big jumbo screens in Times Square, because that's what's going to happen. All right. So shall we, without further ado, ask us questions? So we're going to announce this, tell you a little bit about this, and then we're going to talk about some books that we want to tell you about. But this is super exciting, and like we said, we mentioned it a couple of times and there was a lot of feedback about it. And so it's going to be as successful as we hope it will be. And that really comes down to engagement. So we hope that you like the books that we have selected, and we hope that you will feel comfortable engaging with our author. I've never seen a librarian not feel uncomfortable engaging with an author, because, you guys are so awesome, and we just appreciate what you do, but also your point of view. And so while so much of this is subjective, it's great to hear from other people and just to hear what your thoughts are. And so it's pretty cool. And so let's not drag it out.
Yeah,
all right.
Because Casey Davis said, "Tell me the title, woman." But also, if you want to ask a question for the author when they're on, please send us an email. Like you can talk to us anytime. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah. And I mean, we could also figure out a way to, if anybody feels comfortable coming on screen, we can do that too. Kind of think, I mean, it's honestly, however you feel comfortable. If you want to get on and with some FaceTime, great. If you want to just write your questions in, great. Do it ahead of time. You're not going to be available that day. Great. You know how to find us. So there we go. So now, without further ado, the inaugural title being celebrated at the Library Love Fest Galley Club is this book, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, is, somebody just wrote, oh my God, my favorite book. Susan Riley. Yes. Yes, Susan Riley. You don't know how hard it was to not tell you that Remarkably Bright Creatures is our selection for our inaugural Galley Club. So this book goes on sale in May, and we just love it. Cynthia D'Apri-Sweeney, Kevin Wilson. There's so much love for this book, and at the heart of this book is a conceit that, very much like Kevin Wilson's Nothing to See Here, it sounds a little out there, but as anybody knows who has read Kevin Wilson's Nothing to See Here, that book works on every level, and so does this one. This is a story about a woman, a widow, who works at night cleaning, working at this aquarium. This is taking place at the Puget Sound, and she has a friendship with an octopus. That is one of the attractions at the aquarium. When we first meet the octopus, he tells us, in his point of view, in his own words, what life is like there. And he feels he's been kidnapped, and he's not happy. And so on this, just very sort of, I don't know, Lainey and I were trying to discuss yesterday what were we saying? It's not fantasy at all. It's just a given. Like Kevin Wilson's book, Nothing to See Here, when these kids get upset, they go on fire. You can relate. So anyway, this is what happens. We've got this beautiful octopus, this woman, a widow, who is trying to fill up her time by working. She loves to clean. The author based this character on her grandmother. And so that's one level of this book. The other level of this book is that this woman's son had gone missing years and years ago. And somehow things start to come to light with the help of the octopus. So we have a couple things that we want to show. We have an audio clip.
Yeah, and it's ALC, an advanced listener copy, so you guys can listen to it on Edelweiss and NetGalley. I'll put the link in just a second. But let's hear a little, because as Andrew Caberline, who comes on our podcast for the audio marketing team, always says, it's our best friend, Marin Ireland, who's doing this one. And we love her so much. So let's hear a little clip.
And Michael Urie.
Oh, and Michael Urie, yes. Right.
Day 1299 of my captivity. Darkness suits me. Each evening I await the click of the overhead lights, leaving only the glow from the main tank. Not perfect, but close enough. Almost darkness, like the middle bottom of the sea. I lived there before I was captured and imprisoned. I cannot remember, yet I can still taste the untamed currents of the cold, open water. Darkness runs through my blood. Who am I, you ask? My name is Marcellus, but most humans do not call me that. Typically, they call me that guy. For example, look at that guy. There he is. You can just see his tentacles behind the rock. I am a giant Pacific octopus. I know this from the plaque on the wall beside my enclosure. I know what you are thinking. Yes, I can read. I can do many things you would not expect. The plaque states other facts, my size, preferred diet, and where I might live were I not a prisoner here. It mentions my intellectual prowess and penchant for cleverness, which for some reason seems a surprise to humans. Octopuses are remarkably bright creatures, it says. It warns the humans of my camouflage, tells them to take extra care in looking for me in case I have disguised myself to match the sand. The plaque does not state that I am named Marcellus, but the human called Terry the one who runs this aquarium, sometimes shares this with the visitors who gather near my tank. See him back there? His name's Marcellus. He's a special guy. A special guy. Indeed. Terry's small daughter chose my name. Marcellus McSquiddles, in full. Yes, it is a preposterous name. It leads many humans to assume I am a squid, which is an insult of the worst sort. How shall you refer to me, you ask? Well, that is up to you. Perhaps you will default to calling me that guy, like the rest of them. I hope not, but I will not hold it against you. You are only human, after all. I must advise you that our time together may be brief. The plaque states one additional piece of information: the average lifespan of a giant Pacific octopus. 4 years. My lifespan. 4 years. 1,460 days. I was brought here as a juvenile. I shall die here, in this tank. At the very most, 160 days remain until my sentence is complete.
Yeah. So, let's see, we love him. I love that he hates that his name is McSquiddles.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying they're hooked.
Good.
I know. It's just as much fun to listen to it as it is to read it. And Marin Ireland is such a actually, she did the recording for Nothing to See Here, which is so good. If you haven't listened to that audio, it's terrific. So even if you've read it, you should definitely check out the audio. Marin Ireland is she's a wonderful actress, and I don't know, there's nothing she can't do. And every book that she's recorded for us, as you were saying, Lainey, just, she just brings it, and everything is different. It's so nuanced. It's fabulous. She's so, so good. So very exciting to not only have this book and to have these two people recording this book. It's really something. That's a special treat. We're so excited when we found out that happened.
Yeah. I feel like also maybe it's good to point out that, like, if that seems kind of wacky and that's not your thing, there's a whole other part of this book with this older woman and a young boy who comes to town. Well, young, he's in his 20s, but he comes to town, and kind of their unlikely friendship, and they work at the aquarium together. It's really sweet. So if you're a little caught up in the, like, what's this about the octopus, like, there's so much more in this book, and the octopus is just steals the show, let me tell you. But there's so much heart in this book, and it's so sweet. Oh
Yeah, it really is. It's hard to explain, and we don't want to take away the fun of diving into this world. But the characters are just they're so well drawn, and there's a lot of heart in this book, and there's some sadness, and it's tender, and and the backstory is really cool. And as I say, she'll be on in the third week with some great stories about how she came to write this book. I mean, she is from the Pacific Northwest, but I'm not going to go into that because that's all Shelby. And we can't wait for you to, she's got some great stories about what the motivation was to write this book. It's really cool. And, look, this may be an octopus, but it's all about love. It's all about connecting, and I think you're just going to love it. So, but again, spoiler alerts. So, in the chat room, what do we have in there? We have the links to the E and the audio.
mm-hmm.
And
somebody did ask about downloading audio. So Amy, if you request it on Edelweiss or NetGalley, you can Edelweiss you can download directly to your computer and listen, or your phone. NetGalley, you can use their app. That's how you download. If you have any questions, send us an email. We'll get you set up.
Yeah. So that's can't wait to have her on to talk about it. to talk about everything.
Super
And
fun.
the raves just keep coming in. So there's a lot of love here. Okay, so that's our announcement, and we're very happy to share this with you, and we'll see you next week. We have other stuff to talk about, but next week we are going to have the publisher of Echo Press and the editor for this book on. So and they will address a lot of different things, including that fabulous jacket. And then the third week will be the author herself. So that's our news. Lainey, Essie, librarians, come along for the ride. Let's have some fun. And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to the Library Love Fest podcast. For more information on this week's episode, go to librarylovefest.com. Enjoying the show? We would love to hear what you think. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at Library Love Fest and on Instagram at Harper Library. Be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and share the show with a friend. Lastly, if you enjoy our show, we bet you'll enjoy all of the other podcasts from HarperCollins publishers. Find a list of shows at harpercollins.com/podcast. See you next week.